we need to go back to the mid-1800s when Chicago was a city in motion. As America pushed westward, Chicago's strategic location at the crossroads of rail and waterways positioned it perfectly for growth. The Port of Chicago became a critical link between the rich resources of the Midwest and the expanding markets of the East Coast. The city's early industries revolved around agriculture, but this would change with a wave of infrastructure that transformed the area into a manufacturing and transport epicenter. The Illinois and Michigan Canal, completed in 1848, was a major factor. This canal linked Lake Michigan to the Illinois River and, by extension, the Mississippi River, connecting the Great Lakes with the Gulf of Mexico and creating a continuous trade route from the Midwest to the rest of the world. The canal's completion made Chicago a critical access point, allowing goods to travel from New Orleans to New York, with Chicago right in the middle. The port's impact on local industries was profound. But to elaborate a little bit, innovations such as grain elevators allowed Chicago to process massive amounts of grain, transforming the city into America's grain market leader and spawning the Chicago Board of Trade. This standardized the grain trade, making it more reliable and transparent, cementing Chicago's importance in agriculture across the nation. If we fast forward to World War II, the Port of Chicago enjoyed another significant turning point, benefiting the city itself. As the United States ramped up its war efforts, Chicago became an industrial powerhouse, dedicated to producing the machinery, vehicles, and raw materials needed to win the war. Factories across the city shifted from peacetime production to making tanks, ships, and planes. The United States Maritime Commission ordered a fleet of Great Lake freighters to support the war effort. The years following World War II were marked by economic change, changes that were not exactly favorable to old-fashioned logistics. The rise of suburban factories, advances in technology, and increasing competition from abroad led to a steady loss of manufacturing jobs. By the 1970s, the city's industrial sector was a shadow of its former self. Projects to modernize factories and attract new businesses could not prevent the closure of over 450 companies between 1955 and 1960 alone. By the 1980s, most of the port's facilities were outdated and underused. The Port of Chicago may be down, but it's not out. Recently, there's been renewed interest in reviving the area and adapting it for 21st century needs. Port officials are also exploring ways to expand and diversify. One proposal includes using the port as a hub for offshore wind energy components, positioning Chicago as a renewable energy leader. Will Chicago reclaim its place as an industrial powerhouse? I suppose only time will tell. Until next time, I'm Ryan Socash, signing off.